Hello and welcome to Rags to Racers, where you find me in my garage that I have spruced up a little bit, but it's not a professional workshop and I'm not a professional mechanic. This isn't going to be your average social media car build where I rebuilt a Lamborghini Aventador in 10 days with £25,000 budget. This is something that I'm going to be doing on a budget, as cheaply as possible, and the more you watch this, the more you'll realise that I love a bargain, including my £8.99 strip lights that I think are dead good. So if you're into classic cars, you're a classic car enthusiast, you're thinking of buying a classic car, or you bought one a few years ago with the intention of it being a project and just left it in the garage, then this is going to be the channel for you. The idea is I've bought a pretty sad looking little car and we're going to resto mod it and we're going to take it racing. That's the idea. It is going to happen. Might take a little bit longer than I think it will, but it is definitely going to happen. And I'm going to be doing most of the work myself with tools that I've bought off the internet or a certain discount supermarket with an interesting middle aisle. So the car in question, 1978 MG Midget, paid 1,500 quid for it. Drove it all the way back from Newport to the West Midlands. Absolute death trap. Let's go and have a look at it. There she is in all her saddened glory. Let's go and have a walk around it. So when I bought this car, it was running. Get into that later. It didn't look anything like it did in the pictures. It looked quite smart, looked quite nice, as you can see. Looking very sad, very scratched, very pitted. And that's just one side of it. Turns out every panel on the car is knackered. And that's just the beginning of it. See, once upon a time it was red. So yeah, not the best, but does come with a hard top. And my neighbours just started the lawnmower up, which is brilliant. Don't know if you can hear it or not. Let's get in it. Right, as you can see, inside of it, it's looking pretty knackered. Interior, it's got seat covers on. The old vinyl seats are still there. They don't actually look too bad, to be honest. The rest of the interior is knackered. So let's go through what works on it. Won't take very long. Fuel gauge doesn't work. Windscreen wipers don't work. Doesn't work. Bonnet release. Bonnet release is down here. Doesn't work. Lights don't work. Temperature gauge does work. Rev counter doesn't work. Lights don't work. Ignition light comes on when you turn the key, but there we go. Odometer doesn't work. Speedo doesn't work. When I drove it back, the steering wheel had 2 screws in it. Absolute terrifying trip home it was, but we got there in the end. But the car was overheating quite badly, which we'll talk about in another episode. So yeah, all in all, not a horrific car, but not a very good one. So, the indicators, they work, just. Hazard warning lights, they work. Thankfully never had the opportunity to use them. But it did come with this nice hardtop, which, I don't know, I might raffle it off, I'm not sure. So, there we have it. How hard can it be? Shouldn't have said that, should I? Now that we've met Rags, I think it's time we get it in the dry. So here we are, we're all safe and sound, chopped up in the garage for now. You were all supposed to meet this car at Silverstone Classic, but I noticed the car had an engine overheating problem. So checked some of the hoses, noticed some of the hoses were shot. But on the last hose that I was changing, and it would be the last one, wouldn't it? Which was the return underneath the exhaust manifold from the heater box, completely disintegrated. This is the bit of hose in question. You can't see through it, and you can't really bend it either, because it's that full of crap and no water was getting through. So now, at the moment, she's a non-runner, which makes our life a little bit easier. So, the idea really, strip the car, get it properly stripped, get all the pieces put in storage, get the car dipped, if we can get it that far. I'm aiming to do almost all the work on this on my own. The only thing I might need some help with is the technical wizardry on fuel injection, yes, fuel injection, and the turbo system that I'm going to put in the car. With a different engine. But we'll get into that. So, as I said earlier, bonnet catch, broken. Usually, if you've got a midget or a Sprite, you can get to it under the wheel. It's not there. However, I have managed to fish down the cable. So it dangles just underneath the number plate there. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's there. So let's give that a pull and let's show you underneath. So, not the most dignified approach, but let's get it open. There's the wire. Give it a wiggle and a pull. And the bonnet's up. Let's have a look. A little bit of water sitting in there. That's thanks to all the rainfall that we've had in the last couple of weeks while the car's been outside while I was waiting for the floor to cure. So here we are. Let's try and get some light in here. So, not an unserviceable engine. Doesn't that hose work look nice? Look, that's what I done. I took the heater, the air intake hose off while I was doing this because it's full of holes and I was just going to patch it up. But yeah, it's not the nicest, but it's not the worst I've ever seen. It's got a magic oil leak as well, like most MGs. I think that's because people put the wrong oil in it. They put transfer oil in it. Transfers from the engine to your driveway or your garage floor. But yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Let me try and show you which pipe it is that's gone. So, can you see this pipe here? That one? Yeah, it looks naff, doesn't it? Wow. Gets better over here. Let's try and have a look. Can you see there where it's broken? Let me try and wedge my hand in there somewhere. Just at the tip of my finger there. Yeah, there should be a hose there. But it's rock solid. Can't even get a screwdriver in there. It's knackered. So, even if I was keeping this original engine, which I will, and rebuild it, the engine would still have to come out to get to that, because that's in the stupidest of places. But yeah, rest of all the hoses anyway. So, I suppose in one way, yeah, it solved the overheating problem. If you look in here, there's lots of rust in all them little corners. Oh, horrible looking down there. Wait till we get this back from the dippers. It's going to look like a doily. So yeah, got a bit of a job ahead of us. So this is kind of being done on a budget, but I'll be saving a lot in hours because I want to try and do almost everything on my own without calling in any help from any external sources. I won't be scrimping and saving on parts and components for the car because I'll be racing it and I want the car to be as good as I can make it. Although the tools and equipment, do you really need to be spending money on really big brand name tools? I don't know. I haven't. I've just bought relatively cheap tools off the internet and some discount equipment from other places. So let's have a look and let's see what I've bought, and we'll play a little game. And the game's called Is It All That or Is It Just Tap? So here I am, nestled on the floor. First item we've bought is a Halfords trolley jack. Less than 50 quid. Let's have a look at it. Let's get it out of the packet, eh? So I bought the low profile option because I might be using it for other things as well. So it's not massive, pretty small actually, which is nice working in a confined space like my garage. Looks pretty good. Let's take it out of the packet. Packed up quite nicely. That's the lever for it. And without wrecking too much of the cardboard, let's get it out. Quite heavy, probably weighs around 15 kilo. So it's relatively heavy for quite a small thing. I suppose it's got to be really. So there's that. Instruction manual. Don't need that. So it works pretty well. It's got a detachable handle. You plug it in and you pump. Goes up to about 35 centimetres from the looks of it. So that's pretty good. It's about a foot in old money. A little bit more than a foot in fairness. And then it's got this little release valve on the side, which you take this off and it's specially machined on that side. Undo the release valve a little bit and it's spring loaded and goes back down. Like that. Do the release valve back up and then that's ready to go. Under 50 quid. It's pretty all that as far as I'm concerned so far. We'll have a look in a bit though. We'll get the cardboard lifted. Next thing on, is it all that or is it just tap? Axle stands. These were 2 for 15 quid, which for brand new I thought was pretty good, considering couldn't find many used ones for that price. So let's have a look. By a company called Ultimate Speed. Ironic because your car's not going to be going very quick if it's on these, is it? So rated up to 2 ton. They look pretty nifty. Drilled on both sides. You've got alternating levels of lift. That appears to be the highest setting. Will it go in? Yep. Not too bad. And comes with a little cotter pin here, which just slides over like that. You know what? Let's get rid of that silly little bit of paper so I can see what I'm doing. Chain could do being a little bit longer. I'm not going to lie on that one. Right, so we're in. And the cotter pin, which appears to be on an even shorter chain. Would you believe it? Sits in and over. Can't pull it out. To be honest, I wish the chain was 2 or 3 lengths longer. You can see it's quite tight around there. That's why I struggled getting it in. But relatively good lift height, I expect. And if they're rated for 2 ton, I bought 2 packs of these, so I've got 4 total, so I can get a whole car up. So yeah, should hopefully be okay. Last thing I've bought is a creeper. Now, quite a lot of you will probably recognise the brand on this, so you'll know where I got it from. It cost 20 quid. So, let's have a look and see, is it all that? Or is it just tap? Some assembly required from the looks of it. Got a set of caster wheels there. And there's the rest of it. Almost looks like it does on the box, I suppose. Looks a bit small, but let's have a look. Let's put it together and let's see what it's all about. Instructions, don't need them. Right. So a bit of construction involved in this then, from the looks of it. Right, see you in a minute. Right, so I got it together. I put it together with, you know, those cheap little spanners that, yeah, rubbish. But I put it together deliberately with them, just to give myself a hard time, really. So yeah, it's together. It took about 5-10 minutes to put it together, but I decided not to film it. Boy, is it all right? Yeah, it's not too bad. It doubles as a stool as well, apparently. It's a bit small. It's about 800 centimeters long, but it should do. I don't suppose it was bad for 20 quid. So yeah, apparently if you pull this little pin here, it lifts up and makes a stool, which is, I don't know, good for a tea break, I suppose. So, but yeah, it's made out of steel and some stunning vegan leather. So thankfully I'm not doing it in the summer, so it's not going to be that hot and sticky on it, I suppose. Well, there we go. Is it just tap? Probably. Am I going to use it? Yeah, because it's better than lying on the floor. So let's see if it stands the test of time. So that's the socket set that I bought. Cost me 200 quid on the internet. I don't expect the ratchets to be up to much, but it looks like I've got a decent selection of of sockets. Hopefully they'll be a little bit better quality. So yeah, not too bad. So we've had a game of, is it all that or is it just that? So far it all looks okay. Let's give it all a go and see. Let's get the car up on axle stands. So I got the car up on axle stands. Little bit of a disclaimer. I need to cover myself here, I think. These old cars are prone to rust. So the jacking point might not necessarily on your car be the best place to jack it from. So let's have a quick look under the car. We'll have a poke around with a screwdriver and we're going to drain the oil and the gearbox and the diff. So straight away you'll notice that I'm lying on the concrete floor and not my fantastic new undercar trolley because I haven't got the height clearance. So yeah, next best really cheap alternative, I think, a little bit of cardboard. At least it'll take the chill off. So anyway, let me try and spin the camera around. There we go. So when I jacked the car up, I jacked it up off the rear diff, and then as you can see, the axle stands are on the axle itself, so they're all holding. I've jumped up and down on top of the car, so I'm pretty happy that I'm working underneath it. Sorry about this, when I jacked the front up, what I did was I had a look under the car and I noticed that just there, between the two chassis rails, people have jacked it up probably, well, looks like 1,000 times off that. So what I did was I used a piece of timber and I went from one chassis rail to the other, jacked it up in the centre, and then my axle stands are just here on that bolt. I figure if it holds the car up when it's on the road, it's going to hold it up when it's on the stands. So there's one on each side. But that might be the really wrong place to put it, but I don't know. So that's what I've done, and it's took my weight jumping on the front of the car as well as the back of the car. So, and as you've noticed, I'm not the smallest of men. So this is the underside of the car. Just trying to have a bash through it. Do apologise about the quality of this, but there's the end of it, look. So, although it looks like a massive hodgepodge, it's not too bad. As you can see, when I first bought the car, one of its main advertising features was that it was professionally undersealed. Oh, it's all over the exhaust pipe and everything. So yeah, probably not professionally done, probably done by Stevie Wonder. But anyway, it's all undersealed. And after watching plenty of car restoration shows, I've figured out that undersealing an old car like this usually hides a myriad of problems. But having a poke around with the old screwdriver, and I'm not going through anything, even over by the sills, it's not too bad. As you can see, with it being an old MG, it comes factory fitted with an underseal system where it just leaks oil everywhere. So at least it's not all rusty. So maybe it will come back from the dippers a little bit better than what we think it's going to. Everything seems to be holding up. I don't know if you can see here, but that's really quite thick and nasty. Years and years of gunk. Right then guys, I'm going to call it a night for tonight. Been out in the garage a few hours now and I'm pretty cold, so especially lying on that concrete floor. It's great fun. So yeah, doing it all again tomorrow and see if I can get a little bit more done.